Boreham Wood are going to kick us off. They will kick from right to left in front of us in an all-white kit this evening. Meanwhile, Notts are in their away kit of all green with the gold trim. In goal, Sam Slocum. At right fullback this evening, Richard Brindley. As you hear the referee's whistle to kick us off as a long ball goes forward, and Mitchell Rose, who skippers the side again this evening in Michael Doyle's absence. He serves the second of a 4-game suspension. Conor Rawlinson in defence, Damien McCrory and Zamana Bakayogo on the left-hand side at left fullback, completing the back four. NCO Baldwin on one wing. Interestingly, I'm maybe playing that a little bit fast and loose with the word interesting this evening, but he's on the left-hand side where many do favour him as a winger. He's played on the right-hand side a bit more often than not of late, and he seems a little lost when he cuts in. Speaking of which, here cutting into the penalty area come Boreham Wood. Good cross into the 6-yard box, pushed away but into the danger zone by Slocum, and Notts ride their luck as they manage to scramble it clear, but only briefly, as Boreham Wood get an early corner kick. Regan Booty in midfield, so's Mitchell Rose, Sam Osborne on the other wing, and then Wes Thomas and Kyle Wootton up front. Mark Stallard is alongside me this evening, and Boreham Wood inside this first minute have started very much on the front foot. Yeah, lively start, isn't it, by the home team there down the left-hand side. Sammy and Thomas firing a ball across. Eventually Sam Slocum could only parry out into the penalty area, and eventually was deflected behind for the first corner of the game to Boreham Wood. The dugouts are right in front of us here this evening, so we'll be able to overhear snippets from both coaching teams as an outswinging corner goes in towards the edge of the penalty area, over the top of people's heads in the end, including Jamal Fifield, who couldn't quite climb on the Notts player enough to be able to get on top of the ball, and now Notts will have it back with the goalkeeper Sam Slocum. Gives me a bit of brief respite, 90 seconds or so into this game, to tell you that David Gregory's in goal for the Wood. They're playing a 3-5-2 formation. Back three of Fifield, Stevens and Champion. At right wing back Ricky Shakes, left wing back Femi Elasami. Three-man midfield of Mark Ricketts, Kieran Murtagh and Sorba Thomas. And up top, Tyrone Marsh and Kabongo Shimanga, who is the top joint goal scorer in the National League so far this season. Got 8 goals to his name already. Only scores in braces though, so 12 appearances. In 8 games he hasn't managed to score. In the 4 that he has scored, he's scored 2. 4 times 2 is 8 as far as I'm aware, and that means that he's got off to a pretty decent start. And well, here they come again with Thomas, middle of the park. He's going to have a go at goal, and he's bent it just wide. Really good effort from the number 14, Sorba Thomas, who scored on Saturday. Tried to bend one from 25 yards, and from our angle that didn't look like it was far away. Yeah, fantastic effort from Sorba Thomas in the middle of the Notts half, picking the ball up, just working it onto his right foot, and then looking to shape it from nearly 30 yards into that far top corner. Struck it really well, just wasn't able to bring it back enough, and it whistled past Sam Slocum's left-hand post and into the Notts fans behind the goal. But it's been a really lively start from Boreham Wood, not giving Notts any chance to settle so far. Wind in their sails, perhaps, because they won 4-0 here against Stockport on Saturday. This small little ground here, where they struggle for an attendance. Generally, average this season of just shy of 600 people. Is also used by Arsenal's reserves and Arsenal's women's team as well, which amongst many things means that the pitch is in absolutely immaculate condition. Number of sprinklers emerging from within the pitch before the game. It has been well watered because of the weather today, but also because of all of the sprinkler action before the game, and so the ball is fizzing about quite nicely on this glistening surface as Elasami dances away from Osborne directly in front of us, and he's approaching the edge of the Notts penalty area once again. Briefly held up by Mitchell Rose, and the Wood have it on the right hand side now with Shakes, and they'll play their way back across the midfield once more. We've played nearly 4 minutes here. It is goalless, but Boreham Wood have certainly started the better of the two teams. Notts have been here before, but only once, and that was in the FA Cup. It was a game that they trailed 2-0 in before a couple of Adam Campbell goals. As Notts win it back, and here they come down the left-hand side with Wes Thomas approaching the edge of the penalty area, still going, shoots, blazes behind into the North Bank stand, the new stand away to our right-hand side. Yeah, the first time Notts have really had possession inside the Boreham Wood half, and Wes Thomas nicked the ball from Boreham Wood, maybe just overplaying a little bit around the halfway line. Made progress down that left-hand side and cut into the penalty area. Maybe a lack of options, and went for goal with his left foot, but didn't pull it back beyond the near post, and it went into the
Boreham Wood fans in that North Bank stand away to our right-hand side, but first foray forward from Notts in any way, shape or form, who've struggled to get hold of the ball so far, and Boreham Wood have been shifting around nicely on this immaculate surface that you've already mentioned.
Notts winning a header, and Thomas hits the deck. It's with Boreham Wood again, though, as they cycle the ball out onto this left-hand side. It's almost running downhill as the pitch banks away towards us here from the centre. As Rose tries to intercept it, it goes between his legs instead, and Sam Slocum has to come out to the edge of his penalty area in a bright fuchsia pink number this evening, with matching boots, and just about collects. Kyle Wootton lays chase to the ball down that left channel for Notts, the right for the Wood, cleared away by David Stevens, who used to play for Lincoln. Got 12 appearances and a goal to his name from the middle of defence this season. He manages to scramble away and gets caught by Wootton, who was just a touch over-eager on that far side to close him down. The second time that he's done that in only the first 5 minutes here, where it remains goalless. Forest are kicking off at 8 o'clock this evening at the Emirates, not too far away from here, although it may feel like a million miles. Lots of fans delayed on the M1, and that means that they've pushed the kick-off back until 8 o'clock. You can catch that one on FM on BBC Radio Nottingham. We're on digital radio for you here from Boreham Wood this evening, and on the BBC Sport website and app across the globe. That makes it sound much bigger. Ball forward up to the edge of the Notts penalty area once more, and Slocum has to be quick off his line once more. What have you made of the first 6 minutes, Mark Stallard?
Well, certainly Boreham Wood have started the brighter of the two teams on the front foot. Look lively, don't they? Busy players, not giving Notts a chance to settle or get on the ball at all. And Notts, at one or two occasions already in these opening 6 minutes, have found themselves just looking for, stretched at the back. But as of yet, nothing on the Notts goal in terms of being on target, but a couple of decent, dangerous efforts in dangerous positions, but Notts just getting a bit of a foothold in the game right now.
Here's Brindley, ball into the near post. Thomas controls it on his chest and turns. There's a few shouts for handball, but the referee ignores them. Booty then sprays it out to the right-hand side. Long ball into the penalty area from Osborne. It's not a bad one. Drops towards the back stick, but it's cleared away by the Boreham Wood defenders and up in the direction of Shimanga, a man with 8 goals. He holds it up. He's not big. He's only 5'8", 5'9", but stocky and strong as he pressed his body in front of Bakayoko there and comfortably held him off on that halfway line as another long ball got over the top, and Damien McCrory body checks. Might be Sorba Thomas on the far side off the ball. You've seen them giving us free kicks. It was a little bit of a daft moment, really.
It was, yeah, and it's certainly one of them that the home fans have been shouting for, but Damien McCrory just using a bit of experience, putting his body across him, never going to get on the ball, Thomas. So thankfully the ref didn't give it as a free kick, but I think it's just one of them where Damien McCrory is looking to get Notts settled, try and get a bit of possession in that Boreham Wood half, which we haven't really seen yet.
Here comes Sorba Thomas again, who seems to be at the heart of many of the good things that the Wood have done in these early stages. Plays a 1-2, and it's back out onto that left-hand side with Thomas once more, who crosses it far too deep for anybody to retrieve. And apart from Zemana Bakayoko, who, tell a line to a boulder, and he gets it on the far side of the ground and is then pulled back by one of the men in white this evening. That is Boreham Wood, and it'll be a Notts free kick on the far side. 8 minutes on the clock here. Goalless between the Magpies and the Wood here at Meadow Park in North London, just off the A1. Handling as Connell Rawlinson gets an early touch on the edge of his penalty area. Plays it up through the lines, up to the halfway line to Sam Osborne, who's trying to get away from a couple of players. Does well to hold them off and gets it back towards Richard Brindley once more. They're trying to play the ball up in towards the midriff area of Kyle Wootton, which is what they do. He falls over but immediately recovers his footing and plays the ball down the right-hand side, where I think Thomas might be offside. I think he was expecting it maybe, but linesman's kept his flag down, and Thomas has won a throw in an attacking area, so Mitchell Rose will go forward. Admittedly, we don't exactly have the best vantage point from here, but I thought he'd strayed just a little bit early.
Well, it looked like Wes Thomas thought he strayed too early as well. He looked a little bit leisurely getting onto the ball. He did in the end, but I think he was expecting the linesman's flag as soon as he looked to play it. Didn't come and managed to win Notts a throw in, which I imagine Mitch Rose will launch a long one into that Boreham Wood penalty area. Perfect,
immaculate playing surface here, but not the biggest pitch, you'd say, as a long throw goes into the heart of the 18-yard box. Flick down, and Booty has a slap shot at goal that's deflected up over the top of the crossbar, and the Magpies have their first corner of the game.
Yeah, Regan Booty just puts his head in his hands, struck it well as it came to him first time on the edge of the box. And it just got deflected off a Boreham Wood leg over the bar. He made decent contact. It was a decent strike, goal-bound effort that deflected and went over for the first corner for Notts.
No Football League in action this evening. There is a full card in the National League, plenty of games in the League Cup as well, Carabao Cup or whatever you want to call it, and a few Checkatrade or leasing.com or Daft Cup games as well. Here comes the outswinging corner into the mix once more. They just about scramble it away to the Wood, and there's a strong tackle that's being made. Fair one at that, and Notts come up with the ball. It's with Mitchell Rose, 10 yards inside the Boreham Wood half. He plays it out onto the left-hand side. Regan Booty over there, plenty of time to angle his cross. It's a fairly decent one. It skipped up off of this glistening surface once more into the 18-yard box, but unfortunately straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Yeah,
it looked like dangerous. There was pace on it, wasn't it? Whipped into an area just a little bit too close to the Boreham Wood goalkeeper, David Gregory, who was able to grab it in his midriff and set Boreham Wood straight away on this left-hand side. They don't mess around, do they? Boreham Wood, they set a tempo, they want to get playing. They've got some lively-looking players, certainly in an attacking sense. One or two bigger lads in the defensive half, but going forward, we look like we've got plenty of movement.
Plenty of former league players in this team as well. Tom Champion, Cambridge, Lincoln, Barnet. You go into the midfield where Kieran Murtaugh's there. He was with Mansfield back in 2013-14. He's been at Cambridge and Macclesfield as well. And here they come forward once more as Booty puts his shoulder into Thomas and knocks Thomas to the deck. He says play on once more, despite a few shouts from the home supporters that are here in attendance this evening. Here's Regan Booty once more. He seems to get on the ball a bit more effectively when he's playing a more central role rather than being put out wide. He doesn't really have the agility, maybe not the pace either, to be all that effective in a wide position, whereas this evening, playing more in the middle of that midfield alongside Mitchell Rose, he continues to find good little pockets of space.
Yeah, exactly right. We've seen the best of him from them central areas. It's still a fledgling Notts career.
Here's Enzio Baldwin, puts his foot on the ball and tries to take it through a gaggle of Boreham Wood players. It's back with Booty once more, who puts his foot on the ball and finds Mitchell Rose. Rose has plenty of time, knocks it forward up towards Thomas, out to the right-hand side now for Brindley, stands the ball up towards the back post in the direction of Wootton, but that's headed away quite effectively by the Boreham Wood defenders, who have kept tight to Kyle Wootton on the far side. Puts it out for Boreham Wood, throwing 3 goals in his last 3 games, Mark Stella, for Kyle Wootton. Obviously the other opposition teams will have done their homework. They've seen that he's the man in form at the moment and the man to stop.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's what happens. That's what comes when you get a bit of a name for yourself and get up a bit of a head of steam, which is exactly what Kyle Wootton's done since he's come to the club from Scunthorpe. Really hit the ground running, and we hope that he can continue that goal-scoring run as well as his general play. You know, as that target man, holding the ball up, allowing others to play off him, vital on nights like this.
Notts have failed to score more than 1 goal in each of their last 5 games. Kyle Wootton's got 3 of them, so you could argue maybe the secret to stopping Notts, stopping Kyle Wootton. Boreham Wood trying to clear it away through the middle. It was Fifield trying to do so. Thomas charged it down, ricocheted high in the air, and David Gregory, the goalkeeper, was able to go across uncontested and clear it away long down the right-hand side. That's why you see that it isn't a massive pitch, and it was something you picked up on before the game, Mark Stella, when you see the goalkeepers comfortably clearing almost up to the opposition penalty areas.
Yeah, it is. They've got decent distance on their kicks, but they're almost kicking from one end to the opposition penalty area. And it's little things like that that just give you a sense it's maybe not the longest pitch in the world. It might be a little bit tight out there. So the importance of shifting the ball quickly, as Boreham would have been doing in this early part of the game, is probably emphasised even more, because you haven't got too much space automatically. You've got to do it by creating it and recycling that ball quickly.
Offside flag has gone up against Tyrone Marsh on the far side. He's scored 4 goals in his last 6 games, 5 in total for the season. Used to be at Torquay and Macclesfield, to name a couple. We've got the scoreboard working as well away to our left-hand side. Notts and Boreham Wood have a few things in common, although they're obviously playing at the same level for the first time in the 2 clubs' history this season. But what they do have in common is a dodgy scoreboard. But here we are with 14 minutes on the clock, and scoreboard is now working away to our left-hand side, and I dare say it's in better shape than the one that's at Meadow Lane. It's 8 o'clock. You listen to Match Night on BBC Radio Nottingham, a Match Night that comes to you exclusively live from the northern part of London, whether it's Notts here at Boreham Wood or Forest, who are at Arsenal this evening. That game in the 3rd round of the League Cup is available for you to listen to on FM, whereas we're here on digital and on the BBC Sport website and app as well. 8 o'clock kickoff for Forest game at the Emirates because of bad traffic on the M1. Long ball forward here from a Boreham Wood free kick. It's going to end up eventually at the feet of Thomas near the corner flag away to our left-hand side. He beats his man and curls the ball to the back post, and it was just a touch beyond Tyrone Marsh. It's curled away for a goal kick, but certainly in these early stages, Mark Stallon, it's only 15 minutes, but Thomas seems to be one to watch and try and keep a close eye on.
Yeah, he looks like a live wide, doesn't he? And predominantly playing on his left-hand side. Boreham Wood almost in possession of the ball, a 3-4-3 formation, isn't it? They've got almost a line of three. They're certainly operating a high press when Notts have got the ball. And you can see already, you know, they've got six of their players in Notts half, stopping Sam Slocum taking that goal kick and allowing Notts to play out from the back, forcing them to go wrong. Ball
up to Wootton, who's going to buy a free kick about 6 yards or so inside the Boreham Wood half. Referee perhaps a little bit kind to Notts and Wootton there, as he seemed to certainly ride the challenge and perhaps go looking for it, as well as his touch was a little bit loose, but we shan't complain too much.
Well, that's what you can do, isn't it, when you've got a Wootton or a target man in the team. You know, when teams do pressure high and stop you from playing out from the back, then you do have that second option. You can go long knowing that it's not, you know, virtually giving the ball back to the opposition. You've got somebody up there who can retain possession and do exactly as he does done there, win free kicks in the opposition half.
Free kick taken square, given to Mitchell Rose, who's got the ball on the halfway line. 16 minutes here now. Remains goalless between Boreham Wood and Notts. It's with Brinley on the right, who's looked good since signing. He's a free agent a few weeks ago now. This will be his third appearance in a Magpies shirt, although that attack there down the right-hand side fizzles out and the ball goes behind for a goal kick.
Just unable to find the run. Wes Thomas, wasn't he? Regan Booty there, trying to slot the ball down the inside right channel, just a bit heavy with it. Wes Thomas trying to get round David Stevens, the number 6, the left side of the central defensive 3 for Boreham Wood, and that is no small task, let me tell you. He is massive.
Yes, he looked like he enjoyed Christmas. Every Christmas. Goal kick in the League Cup this evening, everywhere goalless for the time being, but Everton are 2-0 up at Sheffield Wednesday, looking to exact some form of revenge, albeit over the wrong club, from Sheffield for the weekend's defeat. It's only just getting underway at the Emirates. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the National League this evening, Wrexham are leading at Fylde by a goal to nil. Fylde coming to Meadow Lane on Saturday. Big ticket offer available, you may have seen, only £3 to get in at Meadow Lane on Saturday. The club doing it as a kind of thank you for the fans, lifeline and whatnot, sticking with the club throughout the summer, through all of the hardships that it went through. Samara Bakayoko gets his foot on the ball, up in the direction of Thomas it goes, but he can't control. Ball in the opposite direction, will break towards Sam Slocum on the edge of his own penalty area. He does manage to clear it away, but Kawongo Shimanga showing a quick turn of pace, and I mean, let's be honest, that's not the quickest central defensive pairing this evening in Conor Rawlinson and Damien McCrory, so they'll have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Boreham Wood look lively in attacking areas when they've got the ball down. Right, I'm going to have a go at the name. Shimanga, he's small and stocky, isn't he? The same with the number 14, Thomas, who we've probably seen the most of in the game so far. So they haven't got the big aerial threat going forward, but what they have got is small, lively lads who are going to look to play in the channels or maybe into feet and get knots turned. And that's a different threat to what we've seen most weekends, most weeks in this National League so far.
Yeovil, who have really found form since beating Notts, as I break off, because an errant pass inside their own half from Notts almost unlocks the door for Boreham Wood to break. They are in possession, but they couldn't quite control it at the time of reckoning, which meant that Notts were able to get enough men behind the ball and prevent a more damaging attack, as Fifield now has it. The floodlights bouncing off of his bald head this evening. And now with Wootton, who's trying to control the ball, but he looks like a seal at the moment, trying to nod it to himself on top of his head. He managed 3 or 4 headers in a row there before he eventually conceded possession, and now game of head tennis continues as Enzio cracks the ball in his face. It was completely fair from the far side from the Boreham Wood man. The ball just smacked up off of him and hit Enzio in the face, and down he goes on all fours. He stays at the moment. The physio's on to check on him, but I'm sure he'll be fine. I was about to say Yeovil are 1-0 up at Aldershot this evening. Really have found some decent form since beating Notts back at Hewish Park last month. Hartlepool are a goal up against Chesterfield, and Dover, where we go a week on Saturday, Mark Stallard. And boy, we're looking forward to it. It's the one that we had earmarked from the moment the fixtures came out. They are a goal up at Maidenhead. And if I'm not mistaken, that is our kind of festive double, Maidenhead, isn't it?
Yes, it is Maidenhead.
Home on Boxing Day.
Double header over Christmas and New Year.
They can pick them, can't they?
Oh, that's the appetite, isn't it?
Oh, I can't wait for Christmas. For almost every other reason. Enzio's fine, by the way. He's kind of massaging his right cheek as he stands about 10 yards in front of us, next to Neil Cox, and just in front of Neil Ardley. He's on the sideline, but he's now been told that he can get back on the pitch, which he has done. And for the time being, he will be on the right-hand side, while Sam Osborne will be on the left. Played 20 minutes here now. It remains 0-0 between Boreham Wood and Notts County. And here come Notts through the middle of the park. It's going to be with Sam Osborne, who'll shoot from range and drag his effort about 2 yards wide of the right-hand post of David Gregory.
Yeah, gets a warm round of applause though. Good direct play from Sam Osborne. The ball breaks for him, what, about 40 yards away from the Boreham Wood goal on that left-hand side, and manages to get the bounce of the ball, but then thinks nothing of it. Takes a couple of touches out of his feet onto his right foot, pulls the trigger from 25-30 yards, doesn't quite get hold of it, all along the deck, a couple of bounces, and as you mentioned, a couple of yards wide of the right-hand post, but good attitude, good direct play, and then at least willing to pull the trigger.
You've never been to this part of North London, Meadow Park, the stadium itself, tucked in next to a big park here, a number of 3G, 4G pitches knocking about. There's a high street not too far away, and Elstree Studios are a stone's throw from here, where many a thing has been filmed over the last 20 years or so. Meanwhile, here on the right-hand side, NCO Baldwin has it approaching the edge of the Boreham Wood penalty area. He tried to pass it to Brindley down the right-hand side as he was going down. He might have been fouled. I think he's probably got a good pace on this occasion, but the referee, David Rock, is a hard man to please, and it's going to be a goal kick instead. There you
go, 21 minutes. Whoever had the first Rock-based pun for the referee's name, David Rock. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Nothing if not predictable, and a little bit boring. Goal kick.
A little bit.
That's just because you have to travel up and down the country.
Ah, yeah. The listeners don't get that, do they?
No, exactly. How many hours in the car was it on Saturday?
Too many.
Goal kick. Not long. And up in the direction of Marsh, who's taken the kind of right-hand side position of that front three for the time being. And it's out for a throw and tackle made on the far side. Enzio stayed on the right-hand side for the time being. Time being. We've played 22 minutes, and it'll be a throw-in for Boreham Wood. They started about ahead in the early stages, another rock pun, in the early stages, but settled a little bit since then. Credit to Notts for being able to settle it down, and they've come more into the game over the last few minutes. They're getting the ball a touch more at their feet and trying to work it down the flanks a little bit, are Notts?
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're just getting a little bit of a foothold in the game. Exactly mentioned about Damien McCrory, just maybe trying to slow the game down a few minutes ago, and they've done that well. They've kept the ball, they've not tried to force it, they've got a few passes going, not created anything clear-cut, and they're not given anything clear-cut away, so they're marshalling the game pretty well at this moment in time, just trying to get settled in their attacking play. We just see a wayward ball there from Regan Booty, just trying to play the diagonal, but as they get more and more on the ball, they'll just be looking to have a little bit more interplay, changes, little two-touch, one-touch, two-touch moves that we saw sometimes on Saturday, but just too sporadic, trying to get little interplay triangles around the pitch and get runners off the ball.
What is interesting this evening, Stal, is that you can hear some of the stuff that Neil Ardley is saying. Now there, Regan Booty, maybe 15 yards in front of his own 18-yard box, has tried to play a Hollywood pass, 70 yards or something there, and just stuck it out for a goal kick, and Neil Ardley not happy with him, saying, look, there's nobody around, there's nobody near you, just hold it, put your foot on the ball and wait for a better opportunity to arise. Not happy at all, turned around and kind of punched his own hand as he's now gone and sat on the dugout. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, There's only 4 rows of seats in front of us, and then there's the dugout, so we are quite close to him this evening. There's 24 minutes on the clock, and Ilasami breaks down the left-hand side, drags his ball across the 18-yard box. Wasn't a bad ball at all. The Irishman, Damien McCrory, had to slide low and put it behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, nothing too complicated, was it, from Ilasami? Got the ball made to get out on his left-hand side and then just drilled a ball into an area, not looking to pick anybody out, and it made Notts defend. That's the question. Fortunately, they were up to it. Damien McCrory there got his right foot to it and cleared it away for what I think is a corner on this near side too. Boreham Wood.
Certainly will be. Thomas is out there offering the short option. 25 minutes about to tick over here at Meadow Park this evening. And here comes the short corner. Osborne came across and closed it down, and whatever they were trying to work off at the training ground didn't come to fruition. And it's going to be a throw-in instead. Marsh is over there as well. Shouting you can hear in the background is from Luke Garrard, the Boreham Wood manager, is only 33. As Ilasami beats one man, beats another, throws himself to the ground on the edge of the area, and the referee, quite rightly, says no dice. Play on.
Yeah, he just went down a little bit too easy. Did well as well. Ilasami got into a dangerous position on that left-hand side, and I think you'd have to say Boreham Wood's main threat has been down this left-hand side through Ilasami and Thomas as well, finding themselves out here. They certainly look to be dangerous, and Notts have got to be aware.
Throwing for Notts, deep in their own territory, away to our left-hand side. 2 defeats in their last 9 games, but only 2 wins in the last 8. 1 win in 5. Throwing a lot of numbers and stats at you there, I'm quite aware, but I think you can kind of take from it what you will. More than anything, it was interesting. I picked up on what Neil Ardley said after the game on Saturday in the post-match interview. They've been drawing games that they probably should have won. They've been losing games that they should have drawn. They've arguably drawn too many games because they've not been able to hang on to the lead when they've had it. 4 times this season they've had a lead and not been able to hold on to it, and have either drawn or lost the game. 26 on the clock. It's a free kick. Mitchell Rose is down on one knee at the moment in front of Neil Ardley and taking on instructions quite intently. He takes the free kick quickly and short, gives it to Brindley, who's running down the right-hand side. He's got Marsh for company, who's now held him up and could do with a little bit of support. He's got some inside from Wootton. In the end, he forces a cross into the penalty area, which is blocked, and it will go out for a throw-in. So perhaps Rose will go along and take that. It will be a long throw for Mitchell Rose, who's tracked it back up the touchline by about 10 yards, I think. And the referee said, no, you can move a touch closer to the corner flag.
Yeah, very rarely you see the referee tell the player to go forward, but that's exactly what he said to Mitch Rose. Yeah.
Get a better angle, I guess, from a touch further up the near byline. As the thrower goes in, and it's broken now towards Conor Rawlinson in that 18-yard box, who is about the last guy that you really want it to. Boreham will try to clear it away down the left-hand side, but good pressure from Rawlinson, and not still have it near the edge of the Wood 18-yard box. It's with Mitch Rose on the right wing, who gives it to Rawlinson. Furthest forward he's been since I think he started at full-back earlier this season, and that gave him a nosebleed. Rose has pushed the ball past his man, into the area he goes, cuts it back, and Boreham would just about do enough. Ride their luck. I think they think it could have been a double ricochet to Notts, and as a result a corner kick, but the referee says that the ricochet came back off of Thomas and has gone behind for a goal kick. 28 on the clock. No.
Wes Thomas wants a corner for that, doesn't he? He's looking at the ref, pleading at the linesman, but nothing doing. But a good play by Mitch Rose on the right hand side, just like an old school push it one side of the defender and run round the other and get the ball by the byline. Attack, and he's low ball across, initially controlled by the Boreham Wood defence. Wes Thomas was on the move, managed to get an effort away, high and well over the crossbar, but he's claiming it came off the Boreham Wood defender. And Mr. Rock said no.
Ball down the right from Notts, up towards Kyle Wootton. Does well to control that. Got a couple of men on him immediately, though. Sam Osborne does well as well on the near side. Cruyff turns, keeps the ball in, gives it to Boot, who stabs it forward with his boot. It's cleared away up towards the halfway line once more. Controlled by Marsh, though, a touch loose, and that allows Notts to sneak back in once more. And Mitchell Rose is the man there who gives it to Rawlinson, back in a much more comfortable position for him now inside his own half. Gives it to his central defensive partner in McCrory. And Notts maintain. Fellow Irishman Michael Doyle continues to be suspended tonight, serving his second of a 4-match suspension. Osborne going back to his goalkeeper. And Notts missing Doyle's presence in the middle of that Parker touch there?
I don't think so at the minute, at this moment in time. I think after the first 5 or 6 minutes where Boreham Wood came out the blocks really quickly, I think Notts have got to grips with the game pretty well. It's fairly even, isn't it? But Notts, as the away team, controlling the ball well, getting some good passes together, keeping possession of the ball, maybe just struggling to find that final pass at this moment in time. But I think they're doing all right at the moment.
Half an hour about played here now at Meadow Park. With a 4-0 on Saturday against Stockport. In fact, they've won their last 2 here. They've won 4 all season, home and away, from the 12 games, 5 defeats and 3 draws in the mix. Good enough to sit them at 12th position in the National League table at this early stage after 12 games. Notts, meanwhile, are 16th coming into this one this evening. Rose controls the ball on the edge of the penalty area and then leaves a pass a touch short to McCrory. Clear it away in the end after scrambling out to this near side. Looked like Osborne used his arm, his shoulder to control the ball, but the referee disinterested, and Maxwell instead thought they were going to have a throw in for a moment, but he must have flicked off of the toe of Osborne, and it's gone out for a Boreham Wood throw on this near side. Half an hour played, Mark Stallard. I mean, Neil Ardley's right in front of us, and patrolling what is a very small technical area here this evening. What do you think he'll have made of this first half an hour performance as Marsh tries to squeeze between a couple of Notts players?
Yeah, I think he'll be reasonably satisfied with what he's seen. So it was a lively first 5 minutes from Boreham Wood. But didn't really, cause any problems. Didn't have any chances. Just one really good effort from distance that didn't look too far wide. Other than that, they've kept him largely at arm's length, haven't they? They've looked dangerous. They've looked lively, but in positions and areas of the pitch where they're not going to cause too many problems. And as a result, Notts have grown into the game, kept the ball reasonably well. Then they themselves may be just looking for that final bit of penetration that's maybe lacking.
Another throw in for Notts as they actually edge their way along the near touchline. Back with you on the terrace on Friday evening this week. That's with you from 6 until 7 on BBC Radio Nottingham, and then we'll build you up to Stoke City against Nottingham Forest from 7 o'clock. That live from Stoke, full commentary. Busy week for Nottinghamshire Sport once more. Quick shout to Derek, the punching preacher, who won again in his fight at the Ultimate Boxer last weekend, taking his record to 10 wins now. Lee Wood will return to the ring. He was on the pitch at the City Ground on Saturday for the win against Barnsley. He fights once more in the Golden Contract Tournament, that on the 4th of October. Hope to be at Bethnal Green that night as Tyrone Marsh breaks down the left-hand side, but quite right. The linesman puts his flag up on the far side. He looked like he was about a yard offside, and linesman duly agrees on the far side. 32 gone, still goalless here.
Well, just gone a little bit too early, and the good line held by the Notts back four just stopped the scene. Marsh was too eager to go, wasn't he? He was always a yard the wrong side of the Notts defence when the ball came. Eventually the linesman's flag goes up, because obviously they have to wait till they become active nowadays. But yeah, always the wrong side, always going to be offside.
I can only imagine how that would have gone down with you. Had you made a 30-yard blistering run only for the flag to go up at the end of it when you put your foot on the ball, when they could have just done it 30 yards ago? If
I ever make a 30-yard run, I shall tell you.
Wootton flicks the ball into the penalty area, but the referee says that he was being a touch physical as he jostled for that one in the air, and it'll be a free kick for the home side on the edge of their own penalty area.
Yeah, it's just gone a bit scrappy, hasn't it, the game? Last 5 minutes. I think we can pick that up by talking about UFC and boxing and different things like that. Yeah, not a lot happening really out on the pitches there at this moment in time. It's a lot of midfield action, and not of it with a great deal of quality in the 5 minutes that we've seen. Both teams very much cancelling each other out at this moment in time.
And that's with one win in their last 5 games, but only 2 defeats in their last 9. Take from it what you will. Ball forward. Flicks off of Marsh, I think, on the way through, and it's going to be another Notts throw-in, and for the first time you kind of feel a little bit of a chill in the air this season. On Saturday it felt like midsummer. It felt like a summer fete actually at Bromley on Saturday. So this evening there is a chill in the air. As Wootton tries to control the ball in his chest, more shouts for handball right in front of us. Sam Osborne jostling with Murtagh, does well because Murtagh's much stockier, but then loses out as Ilasami comes in and helps to put the pressure on the Notts youngster, who is making his first start since at Harrogate back on the 13th of August. Of course, Notts winning by 2-0 that night. In fact, he made his first appearance in a Notts shirt since Harrogate, only on Saturday, that off the substitutes bench. It's with Shimanga, left-hand side, edge of the penalty area. Now to Marsh, to Ilasami on the left-hand side. His cross is deflected, and Booty gets there in front of Mitch Rose, but gives it away and then wins it back once more. And Osborne plays it long up to in the direction of Thomas. So chase hard, though the stocky David Stevens will get there first. Frustrating first 35 minutes, you'd think, for the two Notts strikers, because they received little in the way of service in these first 35 minutes. But here's Enzio on the left wing, who again has more miss than hit in this first half. And the hit was when the ball hit him in the face. Ball up to the penalty area, it's to Osborne, who controls it and gives it to Brindley on the right wing. And here comes the cross in towards the direction of Kyle Wootton, but the goalkeeper came and comfortably claimed.
Yeah, good bit of play, good bit of build-up play by Notts there, down the left-hand side, a little bit of patience into the front man, a little ball around the corner, eventually working it across to Richard Brindley on the right-hand side. And he's a little bit more time, and we've mentioned how good his delivery's been so far in a Notts shirt. On that occasion, just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper, David Gregory, who claims it almost unchallenged.
Still goalless between Arsenal and Forest. Hop, skip and a jump away from here this evening. Game available for you on FM. As Thomas has the ball on the left wing for Boreham Wood. That's a decent pass across the edge of the 18-yard box and found the feet of Tyrone Marsh, who couldn't quite get the ball out of his feet in time, much to the fortune of Notts County, because it could have been shooting distance and one to sting the palms, perhaps of the goalkeeper Sam Slocum, who has been largely unemployed for the last, I'd say, 20-25 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was, but it was good tackle from Mitch Rose, just get tracking back in the right place on the edge of the box there, just to dispossess Marsh, as he may have been looking to find space and pull the trigger. Good play from the Notts skipper. Goalless
between Colchester and Tottenham in the third round of the League Cup. Stoker winning by a goal to nil Crawley. And as Booty will have to track back towards the halfway line to retrieve possession for Notts. He does do, and it's now with Brindley on the right-hand side. Plays it short for Booty once more. He's kept moving. Now to Osborne. Osborne dithers on the ball and catches a bit of a sore one from much bigger and stronger Femi Ilasami. There's Bakayoko on the left-hand side. His ball forward is optimistic at best, and now Notts have lost it near the halfway line. Thomas clips it forward in the direction of Shimanga, and it's back to Notts once more as McCrory and Rose do enough to intercept. Bakayoko has it on the left-hand side. Enzio's tucked in, and Wootton is barrelling around trying to win it back as Enzio stands virtually still, and Boreham Wood have it on this left-hand side. It's with Fifield and Ilasami. Also in the League Cup this evening, Leicester are a goal up at Luton. Ilasami and Marsh play a 1-2, and they break into the penalty area. Comes the cross, and it was a really poor attempt from Kamongo Shimanga, who should have done so much better. He was quite pedestrian in his attempt from around 8 or 9 yards out, so pedestrian in fact that Sam Slocum was able to clear it away with his feet from that shot, but not far too easily undone by a simple 1-2 down there right-hand side, the Boreham Wood left. Yeah, it was. I mean, Richard Brindley just making a poor decision at that time. He thought he could go and nick the ball, wasn't going to get there, and allowed him to play it around him. Little 1-2, as you're saying. When the ball came in from the left-hand side all along the deck, it managed to find the feet of Shimongo, who just backed away from the last Notts defender, and with his right foot from barely 8 to 9 yards out, all along the ground, straight at Sam Slocum, who just stuck out a foot and booted it clear. And the Notts goalkeeper will be thankful he even had a sniff of it, because the man who's on 8 goals for the season
didn't convince that he was going to put that away.
Daisy cutter. Wootton comes short and squares it out to the left wing for Zamana Bakayoko. Carries it 20 yards and plays it back up into the feet of Wootton, who's surrounded by white shirts. Has to go back out to Bakayoko once more. Now to Enzio, cut in and tries to bend one to the far post with his right foot, which is what he does so well. And it's where the majority of his 6 goals in a Notts County shirt from 52 appearances have come from. But this one tonight touched too deep for anybody to get their head on the end of. And I think it was an intended cross rather than a shot.
Yeah, I think he was just looking to find one of the Notts players in the box. Just a yard too much pace on it, and he clears everyone and out for this goal kick. To Boreham Wood as we nearly 40 minutes on the clock in the first half, and really that Shimonga chance was the clearest chance we've had in the half, and there's not been many, if any, really, either end. It's all been shots from distance.
Yeah, he might not get a better opportunity this evening than that to get a goal. Thomas keeps it in on the near side. Sami comes over, and he wanted the throw in, but Notts get it. Level with the halfway line. 2-0 to Man City in the League Cup over at Preston this evening. Short one for them. Everton are still 2-0 up at Sheffield Wednesday. It's 1-1 between Watford and Swansea. 1-0 to Southampton at Portsmouth in the local South Coast derby. And as I mentioned, Leicester are a goal up at Luton. It's still goalless between Arsenal and Forest. Fylde have a goal against Wrexham, 1-1 there. Fylde coming to Meadow Lane on Saturday. Yeovil are 2-1 up at Aldershot. Aldershot had pegged them back, having Yeovil taking the lead at the shots this evening. But yeah, now 2-1, they restore their lead. Bromley are 1-0 up at home against Woking. Around the M25 from here, as Thomas puts some pressure on the Boreham Wood defence, forces an error. He's got it, approaches the edge of the area, loads of time to pick his shot, does shoot, it's saved, but Enzio's there, he's hit the post, and now it's gone in. He hit the far post, it bounced back along the goal line, and then I think it hit the goalkeeper and went in. It was one of those freak moments. It could have hit a defender there on the line as well. The only thing that matters is that it did go over the line in the end. Not the cleanest of goals, but Notts have the lead here with 4 minutes to go before the break.
Certainly not the cleanest of goals, but Enzio Baldwin gets his name on the score sheet via both posts, I think it was. But massive credit to Wes Thomas. He chased down a sort of 50-50, wasn't even a 50-50 ball, a ball that he was second favourite to get, chased it down, put the defender under pressure, just nicked it off him, and then made ground in towards the Boreham Wood penalty area. It was his low shot. He had a couple of options either side of him, opted to go for goal. Low shot down to the right. David Gregory did well to make the save initially with his right hand, but could only push it a few yards away to the left-hand side. And Enzio Baldwin was the first man on the scene with his left foot, putting it back into, well, from an angle, into an open goal. Hit one post, hit the other post, and all that matters is it's in the back of the net, and Notts County are 1 goal to the good.
Well, Thomas, as you say, key part of that goal there, ran hard this evening, which is, I guess, all you can ask for from your front men on evenings where opportunities are scarce. Enzio, Johnny on the spot, right man, right place, and worked hard to get there as Mitchell Rose puts just a touch too much pressure on Shimonga as he tried to get away from him, and Boreham Wood have a free kick 20 yards inside the Notts half. Good following from Notts here this evening, considering it's been a horrible wet day, and it's not a new ground for them, having come here before in the FA Cup only, what was that, 3 years ago, back in the November of 2016. I'd say there's probably 300 or 400 here. Here comes a free kick as Boreham Wood immediately look to strike back. Fifield on the edge of the penalty area, having a deflected effort, pushed away onto this near side, and now it's going to be a Boreham Wood throw. Important for Notts to stay strong, stay firm, and maintain their lead as they approach the break.
Yeah, absolutely vital that they find their way through to half-time without conceding. We've seen far too often this season where Notts have gone behind and have to end up chasing the game. It's been few and far between when Notts have actually got the first goal in the game and got themselves ahead. So hopefully we can see that through to half-time and just have a word with the manager, the coaching team, and then just regroup and get a game plan ready for the second half.
A goal kick for Notts, and Sam Slocum will take all the time in the world and going across to retrieve the ball from near the corner flag. A minute and a half remain now until 45. Shouldn't imagine that we'll have too much stoppage time at the end of this one, end of this first half. Still goalless between Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. Slocum clears away long. And Shimanga's on the ball, but really controlling the halfway line. He's trying to bluff the liner, I think, on the far side, saying that he should have a throw-in. But it was clearly he that ran it out on that far touchline. And Notts have it back once more, playing it forward up towards Kyle Wootton, and the Magpies will have another throw-in as we're inside the final minute of the half. Notts haven't had many chances in this first half. In fact, that's pretty much about it, the one that they had, but it was the only one that they need. And Enzio Baldwin grabbing his 4th goal of the season. As the 4th official puts his board up above his head and tells us that there are going to be 2 minutes that'll be added on at the end of this first half.
Yeah, we've always got 2 minutes when we've barely had a stoppage, have we? But either way, just for Notts to see out, the game has been dead. You talk about chances, don't you? It's a game of 2 chances, really. Notts have taken theirs, but barely a minute or 2 before that, Shimanga at the other end had a just as good a chance from 8 yards. Didn't get the right contact, could only find the feet of Sam Slocum, the Notts goalkeeper, who gratefully kicked clear. But as far as chances go, that's been about it, I think.
Here goes Wes Thomas down the right-hand side. He's going to get the other side of Fifield from a clearance from Slocum. He's down near the bottom corner now, next to the corner flag. Fifield's much bigger, much stronger, and he's managed to squeeze himself around Thomas, who then perhaps in frustration has tussled Fifield to the ground, and referee gives the home side a free kick right in their bottom corner. And Thomas now goes and grabs the ball and wastes a little bit more time. The referee, David Rock, will come over and have a word. We've played the first minute of the 2 added on at the end of this first half. Just hearing that Arsenal have taken the lead at the Emirates against Nottingham Forest. Gabriel Martinelli, the man with the goal. So 1-0 to Arsenal, 1-0 to Notts here against Boreham Wood. And 30 seconds, I would say, until the referee blows his half-time whistle. Goalkeepers tried to clear it away, and good running again from Kyle Wootton, who's worked hard in this first half. He charges the clearance down and it goes behind for a goal kick. Yeah,
you said a few minutes ago that himself and Wes Thomas not had loads of service to work with, but they have worked hard, put in the shift, and that's where the goal came from. Wes Thomas working hard, chasing lost causes, if you like, turning something and making something out of nothing, and that's why when the ref blows his whistle, that Notts are going in 1 to the good.
The 2 teams are back out, no changes have been made, and the Magpies are about to kick us off for this second half. Mitchell Rose is the man who takes the kick-off, rolls it back towards Damien McCrory, who, as so very typically for level, plays a long ball out to the right-hand side. Notts managed to nod it down through Kyle Wootton, who finds Sam Osborne, tries to get the other side of Ilasami, loses the ball, kicks him in the back of the calves, and gives away an early free kick around 15 seconds into the second half. So Notts are in green this evening with a gold trim, whereas Boreham Wood are in all white. Notts have, as I say, made no changes to the team that started and played in that first half. 2 changes, though, from the team that lost at Bromley on Saturday. Jim O'Brien obviously not able to feature after sadly fracturing his arm in 2 places, very painfully, I should point out, as well, and also dislocating his arm in some way as well. So not a good one. Will require surgery, which is expected to come soon. Sam Osborne in the team for him, and then Wes Thomas prepared to Christian Dennis. Now Mitch Rose here is trying to shepherd the ball out an awful long way. In the end wins a throw-in, but also catches Sorba Thomas away to our right-hand side. It's going to be a throw. There's a little bit of afters here between Thomas and Rose, right in front of the referee. Handbag stuff at best. They both kind of had hold of each other's arms. Now Rose wants to get an explanation out of Thomas, and it's still going on, the 2 of them, and the referee continues to keep a watchful eye over the pair. Might be one to watch that over the next couple of minutes or so, as the throw-in's taken down the left-hand side and knocked straight back towards them. Thomas gives Rose a little nudge, and Notts try to clear it away down their left-hand side. Bakayoko in there once more as well, and it eventually breaks to the Boreham Wood skipper, who is Mark Ricketts. Plays it out to the left-hand side for Ilasami. Ilasami tries to cross, and it's cut out by Osborne, and Wood are back in possession just inside the Notts half. It's with Fifield bright orange boots on the far side under the floodlights here. Plays a ball into the penalty area, and a couple of Boreham Wood strikers hit the deck inside the Notts penalty area. Tyrone Marsh going with particularly dramatic aplomb as he hit the turf, but the ball has gone behind for a goal kick.
Tyrone Marsh going down one of the more theatrical swan dives you've ever seen there.
Well, we are right round the corner from Elstree.
Wow, maybe he's looking for an acting career after his football, but that was certainly theatrical, but referee not having anything to do with it. And he's still giving him some as well, but no, nothing doing there. They're too much on the cross. It was one of them crosses that, you know, they had men forward, Boreham Wood, but never going to get on the end of it. And I think in desperation more than anything, Marsh threw himself to the deck and looked pleadingly at the referee.
Played 2.5 minutes in the second half. Notts lead by 1-0. They got that lead 4 minutes before time in the first half. Wes Thomas with some good hustling play inside the Boreham Wood half, able to force an error out of a Boreham Wood defender. He then charged down on the edge of the 18-yard box, had a shot at goal. Keeper saved it, but pushed it straight into the path of NCO Baldwin, who managed to hit both posts, we think, in the end, before the ball eventually trickled across the line. Certainly hit one post and then skewed back across the goal line. Before, either hit, it was tough to see from the far side. I think it hit the far post, maybe nicked off of a Wood player or a goalkeeper as well. But either way, Enzio got his 4th goal of the season, his 10th goal as a Notts player, spread over, of course, last season and the start of this. The Notts team in the second half, I should say: Sam Slocum in goal, Rich Brindley at right back, Bakayoko left back, McCrory and Rawlinson in the middle of defence. Again, Ben Turner still out with a minor calf problem. Sam Osborne on one wing, Enzio the other. Mitch Rose and Regan Booty in the middle of midfield. Booty taking a more central role this evening in Jim O'Brien and Michael Doyle's absence. Doyle serving a 2nd out of 4 match suspension, and then Wotton partnering Thomas up top on the bench this evening. Jake Keane, Christian Dennis, Pierce Bird, Declan Dunn and Sean Shields. A break off here as here come the Wood into the penalty area. Shot goalwards from Marsh from an acute angle down the left-hand side, and leapt upon by the goalkeeper, Sam Slocum. He played 4 minutes, still 1-0 to Notts. Yeah, a little quick free kick, wasn't it, from that left-hand side. Boreham Wood spotting the runner Tyrone Marsh along the back line of Notts, in behind them down that left-hand side, and really his teammates looking at him saying, why didn't you pull it back across goal? He's gone for goal, never really going to cause too much trouble from that acute angle. And Sam Slocum able to get down and smother it easily, but surely pulling it back from there was the option. As again, Boreham Wood not shy in putting bodies in the Notts County penalty area, as you would expect from the home team, being a goal behind. And they've won their last 2 games here at Meadow Park, have the Wood, including a 4-0 win here on Saturday against Stockport. They've not made any changes at half-time either. Luke Garrard is their manager. He's only 33. He's been the boss here since 2015, but he's played for Swindon and played here for Boreham Wood, as well as they get a rather unnecessary corner from the Notts defenders way to our right-hand side. And Sorba Thomas, who was such a thorn in the Notts defence side in the first half, or at least the first 10 minutes of the first half, is going to go across and take it. This will be their 3rd corner of the night. It will be an outswinger from the right-hand side, right to us. He wears number 14 on his back, and that's a high one, dropping towards Fifield at the back post. The much smaller McCrory wins the first header, and then 2 Notts players go for the second ball. Neither of them really make a good job of it. Rawlinson and McCrory challenging for that one, and in the end it'll go behind for a Notts goal kick. They've got Tom Champion, David Stevens and Jamal Fifield in defence. Femi Elasami on the left-hand side playing as a wing-back. Ricky Shakes on the right, as McCrory tries to clear it away. Mark Ricketts just got hit by a sniper, I think. He just hit the deck out of the blue in the middle of the park there as he tried to turn. But he's in the midfield, he's the captain, alongside the former Stags man Kieran Murtagh and Sorba Thomas, who we mentioned a moment ago, and then up front Tyrone Marsh and Kabongo Shimanga, who have got 13 goals between themselves in the early stages of this season. Shimanga's got 8, Marsh has 5, Marsh with 4 in his last 6 games. Shabonga certainly knows where the net is. He scored 24 goals for Oxford City last season. It's Fifield. Tries to slip it through the lines in the direction of Thomas. Poor touch from Rawlinson has presented the ball back on the far side to Shimanga. And Notts concede another rather unnecessary corner.
Yeah, just been a little bit sloppy on a couple of occasions. I mean, first Damien McCrory heading the ball out for a corner unnecessarily, and then Conor Rawlinson just been a little bit slow in reacting to the ball there, allowing the Boreham Wood forward to nip in and deflect the ball off him and win his side into a corner.
A group of players jostling for position around the penalty spot. It's Brindley that wins the header in the end away from the near post, but it's straight back into the mixer once more, and Bakayoko can't get it away. It will now fall to the edge of that 18-yard box, and in the end it was left to Kieran Murtagh to have an effort from goal, kind of dig it out from underneath him, and he put it well over the top of the crossbar. Is it me, or does it feel as though Notts start games and also start second halves often quite slowly, quite lethargically?
Well, they have done in this half. Yeah, they certainly have, and you shouldn't be surprised, should you? Boreham Wood, the home team, one goal behind, are going to come out and start lively like they did in the first half. That's exactly what they've done. It shouldn't come as a surprise, but yeah, McCrory, Rawlinson guilty of maybe just being a little bit ponderous in their decision making at the back. It's not a time for pondering on the ball. You know, you wanted the good. There should be no mistake. Just turn them around, play in the opposition half. You know, for the first 5 minutes, try and nullify any threat, take any wind out of their sails, and then look to play in the attacking third from there on in. But so it's Boreham Wood who, you know, just got a little bit of a foot up in the start of this second half.
In Boreham Wood, you have a team that has discovered a little bit of a richer vein of form in recent weeks. As a break off, because here comes Regan Booty, takes a touch, then slides it to Thomas, who also takes a touch, edge of the area, eventually shoots, but there were 3 men between him and the goal by then, and it struck one of those in a white shirt. Not still have it. It's with Mitchell Rose, who turns away from his man, pushes the ball out of his feet. He's going to shoot. Fifield blocks it, and that goes behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, better play. 2 good individual bits of skill. First from Regan Booty, little shimmy, drop of the shoulder, buying himself 10 or 15 yards, 25 yards out, slotting the ball to Wes Thomas, who wanted too many touches to get it on his right foot and try and shoot, and then Mitch Rose doing similar. Good little dummy in the middle of the park. His shot deflected behind for this corner from Notts attacking right.
Regan Booty, the man to take it. This in front of the Notts fans. There's probably 300 or 400 here this evening. In at the near post it goes, and comfortably cleared away and out of the stadium by Jamal Fifield. Played 9 minutes in the second half. Still 1-0 to Notts here at Meadow Park this evening. Second half either on the way or kicking off very shortly at the Emirates, where Forest are trailing Arsenal by a goal to 0. Rose gets a round of applause from the travelling Notts fans on the far side. And Neil Ardley is shouting towards Enzio, saying, "Go on, Enzio, do it." Well, Enzio is on the ball, and he's done it. He's put the ball behind for a goal kick. Don't think that's what the manager was talking about.
I'm absolutely certain that wasn't what he's talking about. But Enzio, you know, the goal scorer for the night, you know, the only goal of the game. But again, we talk about him. We spend a lot of airtime discussing the enigma that is
the ghost.
Well, you know, again, tonight's been a game that has almost passed him by, yet he has got the only goal of the game. He was in the right place when it mattered. Ever the frustration continues.
Ball down the left-hand side will outrun even the pacey Femi Ilasami, who's 28 now. Used to be at Dagenham and Redbridge a few years back, and York as well. Remembering both of those clubs, commentating on games that he was involved in. As I was saying before Regan Booty slipped the ball through towards Thomas, who probably wanted one too many touches with it in the end. He had it in his mind what he was going to do, and it didn't quite come to fruition as he cut back in on his preferred right foot. Boreham Wood have hit a slightly richer vein of form of late. They started this season by winning only one of their first 7, but since then they've gone unbeaten in 4 of their last 5, winning 3 of those, including the 4-0 win here against Stockport at the weekend. As Enzio with the ball on the right-hand side, some slide tackles going in now, and Mitch Rose knows that the referee must be so eager to blow his whistle, because he didn't get to do so with any of those slightly more reckless-looking challenges. So as a result, he throws himself on the floor and gets a token free.
Yeah, Mitch Rose putting himself forward for the Richard Duffy, how easy can I hit the deck and try and win free kicks
Duffy award, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
The Duffer. Bakayoko has it on the left-hand side. It goes back to McCrory. 56.5 gone. It's going to be key in the second half as it progresses still to ensure that not stay on to this league.
Well, composure and concentration, you know, no different to any other game. There's a long way of this game to go, and certainly it's not one of them you can sit back and think, well, what we have, we hold. Hasn't got to get on the front foot. Say, play the percentages as well. Maybe look to turn the Boreham Wood defence around a little bit more. They've got adopting a high starting position. You know, they've got this back three that allows the full-backs or wing-backs to start high up the pitch, so they've got bodies forward. But you've got to turn them around, make them run back towards their own goal and get them starting from deep, and even if you don't retain possession.
Neil Ardley hot under the collar in front of us. He's taken off his coat. He's just got the black sweater on now, and he's just preaching the gospel of defending to Pierce Bird and Declan Dunn, who are sat on the substitutes bench here in front of us. Quite animated fashion. That was him in the background. I paused so you maybe could have heard. It was Regan. You've got him the ball now. Pull him onto it. Come on. And Regan, Booty turned, gave him the thumbs up, and certainly understood, or appeared to understand, what his manager was telling him. 50, 60 yards away though, so he might have been throwing a death one. You never know. Footballers tend to do that from time to time.
Hey. Now, exactly what Neil Ardley's saying there. He's saying when you get on the ball, don't be looking to play in the same channel where the ball's come from. Open your body up and try and spread. And that's exactly what you want to do. You're talking about what Notts need to do. They need to get Boreham Wood chasing the ball, retain possession, make the pitch big when you've got it, get them using their energy, you know, try and win the ball back so they've got as much when they're in possession and attacking.
Sam Slocum being heckled by literally dozens of Boreham Wood fans as he clears the ball away. It comes straight back towards him, and Damien McCrory has to be quick onto it. He does really well, in fairness to the Irishman there. And he's got a pacey striker on his back, and he's tracking towards his own corner flag, and he managed to weave away from him, get it back towards Slocum, who was then able to clear once more. We approach the hour mark here, and Notts continue to lead by 1-0. Lead that they got 4 minutes before time in the first half.
Yeah, excellent defending from McCrory on that occasion, matching the run of Thomas, looking down that inside left channel, strayed with him, used his strength to clear the danger. Change
on the way in a moment or two for Boreham Wood. They will be the first tactical switch and management team to blink here this evening when it comes to that. In front of us, Neil Cox and Ardley stood hands in pockets on the edge of their very small technical area here at Meadow Park. Notts back at home on Saturday against AFC Fylde. That one only £3 to get into. As the ball goes down the left-hand side, and here goes Sorba Thomas, dragged back. Sure, the referee was going to give a free kick. He's not chosen to do so. I think everybody's a little bit surprised that he didn't. But it will be a throwing instead, as it's with Murta on the far side in the gloom underneath the floodlight, where 3 big trees make it fall in behind. He gives it to Fifield, who's getting ever further forward in this second half. He has a shot, it deflects, it goes into the path now of Shimanga, who turns and shoots, but it's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper, Sam Slocum. Yeah, dangerous from Boreham Wood. That good play by Shimanga, good centre forward play, backing into the centre half, got the ball into his body. He's short and squat, isn't he? Really stocky, low centre of gravity, and just had a couple of touches onto his right foot and whipped in the shot on the turn. And unfortunately for Notts, it was straight at Sam Slocum. A couple of yards either side, and that would have been the 9th goal of his season, Mr. Shimanga. He's trying to cause a bit of a nuisance of himself once more, Shimanga. Short and squat, I'm not sure that's probably the way that he'd describe himself on his Tinder profile. But, well, you know better than me. By the by, no, I don't. My wife might be listening. Sam Slocum will clear the ball away from. Let's just weave away from that edge of the penalty. I'll blame myself. And Kyle Wootton being a touch too physical with Ilasani, and it's going to be a Boreham Wood free kick, which they've taken quickly over towards Marsh, who's got some blonde dreadlocks pulled tightly behind him, and puts the ball out, and it's going to be a Notts throw-in. Bakayoko, the man who will take it, his socks sagging down by his ankles, almost like Jack Grealish. Takes the throw-in short, gives it to Booty, gets it back, and Booty plays it down the left-hand side. Rather speculatively looking for Kyle Wootton. In fact, ball bounces right. Oh, I thought it was going to come our way for a moment, Stal. Elbows are up. Yeah, absolutely. It's an automatic reaction. But that's what I'm talking about. Little things like that where it's tight, you haven't got time to pick a player out, put the ball into an area, turn them round, look to take Boreham Wood back toward their own goal, and as a result, not get a throw in. They've got possession in the Boreham Wood half. Enzio does well, gives it out towards Brindley on the right-hand side. Good ball into the penalty area as well. And it was Kyle Wootton who met it with his head. I don't think he was quite expecting to do so, and as a result, His header's gone out for a throw.
Yeah, I think he had to give Champion a little bit of a nudge as the ball came across, and in doing that took his eye off the ball, could only glance the header. It's out for a throw-in by Boreham Wood's defensive corner flag, so no danger done. But this is it. Notts would like a spell of possession and territorial advantage inside the Boreham Wood half.
Enzio trying to get underneath a couple of Boreham Wood players and then wins it. But give the free kick to Merton. And meanwhile, Enzio's now going to get booked because he held onto the ball for 2 seconds and the referee's chasing him. Eventually he caught him, and Enzio's been given the first yellow of the day.
Yeah, comedy moment of the game, that. Enzio running away with the ball, or jogging away with the ball, and the referee was doing a comedy run to try and chase him and get the yellow card out.
Ball down the left channel from Boreham Wood. Sorba Thomas almost onto it, but McCrory across again, and marshalling him effectively, puts it out for a throw on the far side. 63 gone hit. Notts continue to lead by 1-0. Looking for what will be their 4th win of the season as Thomas shoots from range, deflects high up in the air and bounces on this near touchline, which is the Boreham Wood right. It's now with Champion. Plays it down the right channel, trying to find the feet of Shimanga. And fortunately for Notts, it's just a touch astray and out for a goal kick, allowing the Wood to make their first change of the game. And it is a familiar name for those in the Football League, Piero Mingoya, who is coming on, and Ricky Shakes, who's had a very quiet game, so quiet I never even managed to fit in a pun about him, and has gone off.
Thought you'd milk that. I'll do it for you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. You'll notice I don't greet it with the same sort of weariness that you greet mine.
You're just jealous,
And beat me to it.
But yeah, that's an attacking substitution, isn't it? Piero Mingoya, we've seen in the Football League before, and an out-and-out real attacking player, winger, sort of number 10, one of them players who looks to make things happen. I mean, what is he, about 5'5", 5'6", but he's come on almost in a number 10 position as it looks at the moment, and Shakes, who had been playing as a wing-back, so you have a look at how that shuffles up the Boreham Wood pack.
Throw-in taken quickly by the Wood down the right-hand side. It's with Marsh. Thomas is there supporting him, offers a dummy run infield. Ball to the edge of the penalty area goes instead as the rain starts to pour here now. And it's blowing around in this increasingly breezy evening as well. It comes out towards Champion. So Piero Mingoya on. This will be his 8th appearance of the season. Was at Morecambe, Accrington. Previously, when he was much younger, at Watford as well. Wears the 7 on his back, which comes with its own sort of level of pressure, I guess. You wear the 7, you better be good. 65 on the clock, and Notts concede possession as Enzio bowled to him. Let's say ducked out of an aerial challenge.
We won't repeat Lee Curtis's analysis of that, shall we? Not on air, if people heard that. But,
if you did.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be in the Evening Post tomorrow. But let's say Enzio didn't win and maybe didn't go through with wholehearted conviction.
Yeah, something like that. Shall take over. Here come Boreham Wood. Edge of the Notts penalty area. That's good defending again from McCrory. And a strong tackle won by Ricketts in the middle of the midfield, but the referee was playing an advantage for something. I think it's a Notts advantage. And the Magpies have got a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area. Looks like there might be a change on the way from a Magpies side of things, as Neil Cox waves and says for Sean Shields to complete his warm-up. The man with the best hair in this part of London this evening is now receiving instructions from Neil Ardley. Seems to be about width.
Yeah, I would imagine that's going to be a straight swap. I can't imagine one of the front two coming off. I don't think Neil Ardley's looking to shut up shop at all, and Sean Shields certainly isn't the player, I don't think, to be doing that. So I imagine it is going to be one of Osborne or Enzio to come off. You would think Osborne would be the obvious choice, but maybe after Enzio just pulled out of the header.
Do that again.
Yeah, and he's also just been booked. I would hold fire, but I would imagine it's going to be for Sam Osborne, who you know, it's not quite got into the game in the second half.
Well, here is Osborne now. He bears down on the edge of the penalty area, takes it past a man and shoots and scores! Oh, what a finish from Sam Osborne, who bends the ball into the top corner. A brilliant finish from the Notts youngster. 67 minutes on the clock. He celebrates with the travelling Magpies supporters, and I'm not sure if Sean Shields hasn't just got him sat down.
Yeah.
2-0 Notts.
Exactly, I think that tells us who he was coming in for, but Sam Osborne with a perfect response. Yeah, Sean Shields has been spoken to there by Neil Ardley at prior time. And we're right, Sam Osborne hasn't really got into the second half as yet. But what a moment to change that. He picked up the ball 35 yards out with his left foot, allowed the ball to run over it, run across his body, showed a little bit of strength to work it onto his right foot, and then that lovely finish that you like to see from 20, 25 yards out, middle of the goal, but he's just bent it with the inside of his right foot into that top corner, to the left-hand side of David Gregory, giving him no chance. And that's both Notts wide men now scored. We might say they've not contributed a great deal in terms of an attacking sense to the game, other than the 2 goals that gives Notts this 2-goal lead.
And the wheelbarrow song is being belted out from away to our left-hand side. Sam Osborne's first goal, senior goal for Notts County, young man coming through the youth system. He's been called for to be included more a lot by the Notts County supporters over the last year or so, and well, that will only add more fire to that flame. As Kyle Wootton now dispossesses Ilasami in a dangerous position. Down the right-hand side he goes, rolls it across to Rugen Booty, and Notts have it, playing some decent stuff now. The rain is pouring, you can see it in the floodlights here. Here they come, down the right-hand side with Enzio, stands the ball up into the area. Oh, and Osborne couldn't quite just put the brakes on in time as the goalkeeper poured the ball away. It went just behind the man who's just scored for Notts, and he sprinted back to the halfway line and won the ball back for Notts as well. A combination of he and Wes Thomas have done so, and Notts firmly with the wind in their sails here. They play it out into the left-hand side. Osborne and Thomas, a touch too close to each other. Ball breaks towards Kyle Wootton, who couldn't quite get it away. Fourth official's fiddling with his luminous board, and I don't know if that's because the substitution is about to take place, but Sean Shields is now going to warm up again. It might be from a Boreham Wood perspective that a change is about to come, as they look to make their second of the day, as Notts lead by 2-0 here. Last time they had this midfield, this exact midfield of Enzio, Osborne, Booty and Rose, was at Harrogate back in August. And they won 2-0 that day. It's 2-0 here as the ball goes into the Notts penalty area, and the handling for goalkeepers will become more of a factor, though the game's become very stretched here as Sam Osborne has the freedom of this left-hand side here at Meadow Park. He runs with the ball about 30 or 40 yards. He's got Ricketts in front of him, loads of confidence now, but he's been very much easily dispossessed.
Yeah, exactly, showing a bit of confidence, rolled the ball.
Bang, Mitchell Rose, it's a great tackle.
Yeah, rolled the ball under his feet a couple of times, didn't he? Sam Osborne showing a bit of confidence of what a goal does, and you're right, Mitch Rose with a slightly harsh yellow card. He seemed to get the ball in the middle of the park, but the referee, Mr. Rock, gets his yellow card out. Second one of the night for a Notts player, and yeah, I think Mitch Rose, you know, he's obviously caught the lad, hasn't he? I can't see who it is that's down.
Might be Murta.
But he certainly won the ball. But either way, he is in the book alongside Enzio.
Yes, indeed. 70 minutes on the clock here at Meadow Park this evening, and the Magpies are leading by 2-0 on match night on BBC Radio Nottingham. Arsenal still lead against Nottingham Forest in the third round of the League Cup. It's 1-1 between Watford and Swansea, 2-0 to Everton at Sheffield Wednesday, 3-0 to Manchester City at Preston. Southampton have doubled their lead at Portsmouth this evening. It's 2-0 there, as it is at Kenilworth Road, where Luton are trailing at home against Premier League Leicester City. 1-1 between Crawley and Stoke, and goalless between Colchester and Tottenham. Perhaps that's a little bit of a surprise. 2-2 between Fylde and Wrexham in the National League. Yeovil are winning at Aldershot by 3-1. 1-0 to Bromley at home against Woking. 2-1 to Barrow at Chorley. 2-0 to Ebbsfleet at home against Barnet. And 1-1 between Hartlepool and Chesterfield and Maidenhead in Dover. 2-0 to Solihull against Stockport. 2-0 to Dagenham and Redbridge at Sutton, and 2-1 to Torquay United at home against Eastleigh, who have hardly put a foot right since they beat Notts on opening day. Murta's up on his feet, bit of a hobble, he seems to be okay as Osborne turns and volleys the ball over the top, and The keeper's off his line. Here goes Thomas down the left-hand side into the penalty area. Keeper's back in his goal mouth now. Thomas has been held up on this left-hand side. Really good ball from Osborne. And now it is the young man who's just scored that brilliant second a few moments ago. He's back on the ball once more and plays it up into the midfield as he searches for Mitch Rose. Thought something was going to come out of that for a moment. And Rawlinson stepping out of defence and then quickly realising that he doesn't do that. And Knox instead recycle the ball out to the left-hand side. The rain is blowing into the press box here, much of a press box, but a press box it is. As Osborne crosses the ball over the 18-yard box and out for a throw on the far side.
Yeah, just a couple of decent breaks, wasn't it? It was just hooked over his shoulder, 40, 50 yards. Exactly the right ball, channel ball. You know, not really looking to pick anyone out. Sam Osborne hooked it into that channel, and Wes Thomas showing his good pace, running the channel, got in behind Boreham Wood momentarily, just couldn't really get the ball out of his feet enough to leave the back three behind him, and Boreham Wood able to get back goal side, and it eventually fizzled out again. But that's exactly what Knox need to do. Don't need to overcomplicate things when it's tight. Just look to turn them around. They've got a 2-goal lead now. It should give them the confidence to play when they can, but not overcomplicate things.
Change has been made by the home side, their second of the night, and it's Justin Shebu who's come on loan from Brentford, and Kabongo Shamanga, who has come off, the man with 8 goals to his name so far this season. Couldn't add a 9th. Sam Osborne was on the ball again, come alive since he scored that goal, which we were literally in the lead up to it saying he'd done nought in the second half, which was true, but since then it's fired him into action.
Well, it has, yeah, but he's given the ball away 2 or 3 times trying to do maybe the wrong thing, and that's, I was just about to say, that's exactly what you get sometimes from a young lad. He's just scored his first team goal. What a moment for him, what a night for him. And then he's had a couple of runs where he's had the ball taken off him. He's crossed the ball a little bit too far, and there he's just tried to play a wonder ball that probably Glenn Hoddle couldn't pick out back in the day. But credit to the lad, his adrenaline is probably pumping. Knots
are under real pressure inside their own penalty area. McCrory was nearly caught by Marsh. In fact, Marsh made the tackle, but fortunately Slocum was quickly onto it before anybody in a white shirt could get anywhere near. It's with Zamana Bakayoko on the left wing. Plays it up to the feet of Wootton, does well, now shields it and gives to Enzio, who'll shoot from range, an effort that was always rising and nearly ended up in the burger bar.
Yeah, but in not dissimilar position, maybe 5 yards further out than Sam Osborne, middle of the park. It shows both wide men are being told to go and take central positions when they get the chance, when the opportunity's there, trying to find space. Enzio that time on his right foot, trying to produce a Sam Osborne type finish, shall we say, and couldn't.
We are inside the final 20 minutes here. In fact, only around 16 remaining, plus whatever stoppage time gets added on, and the Magpies lead by 2-0. So few Boreham Wood fans there are away to our right-hand side, but Thomas nearly had to hop the barrier then to retrieve the ball, but somebody scampered to his aid just in time. Sam Osborne nearly makes a rash tackle, but Thomas managed to hurdle it, and Knox are just playing the ball across their own 18-yard box before Mitchell Rose says enough of that, puts his boot through it and clears it long towards the halfway line where Fifield is now on it, taking it down the left-hand side. Booty will have to come across. Enzio's going to have to drop and cover the ghosting movement of Thomas, who's trying to sneak round the back at the opposite side of the pitch, which he has recognised after Neil Ardley shouted his name. And here's champion for Boreham Wood down the right-hand side. It is with Thomas, who's going to step over the ball and sneak across, attempt to cross it, and it's smacked off of the head of Zamana Bakayoko, and I think he's okay. He's getting up to his feet, albeit slowly. One of those that will sting a bit, albeit not as much as if that had happened in January or February time, but he is okay. Here's Zoom, and back up to his feet, and back into the mix inside the 6-yard box. It's going to be a corner kick. It'll be a 5th corner of the night for the home side. Less than 15 minutes remaining here at Meadow Park. And it's taken by Thomas, an outswinger into the penalty area, header goalwards. Fortunately for Knox, straight to the keeper.
Yeah, David Stevens, it was the centre-half meeting. It is the man mountain of a centre-half, but Knox looking to break. Oh, it's a disappointing ball from Enzio in behind Sam Osborne, as Knox were looking to counter-attack immediately. The header from Stevens, and it was a clear header as well, from about 8 to 9 yards, straight at Sam Slocum, who grabbed it gratefully, wasted no time in bowling the ball out, and Enzio there just trying to slot the ball for Sam Osborne, who maybe just making the break, was in his own half, so couldn't be offside. But Enzio just not able to get the pace on the ball and played it in behind Osborne. And again, it just fizzled out. But Knott's in possession on the halfway line.
Sean Shields is now going to come on. I wonder if it will be for Sam Osborne once more. The man they call Aussie. I know that because Neil Cox has just been shouting it at him, telling him that he needs to tuck in and get a little deeper. So eager to get forward and add to Knott's total and perhaps his own. He's in a forward position at the moment. Knott's almost playing 3 men up front. I want to tuck in. Knott's have it. It's with Bakayoko on the left-hand side, approaching the halfway line. It is now with Aussie, who's going to turn and run, which is what he's doing. Tries to roll it through, caught in possession once more, and rather innocuously caught Murtagh on his follow-throughs. In some real pain there is the former Mansfield man in the Boreham Wood half, but it's Boreham Wood that are in possession, and the referee in the end will have to stop play because he's rolling around, writhing in agony and hanging onto his left ankle by the looks of things, maybe the knee.
Yeah, he was the player that was down just 5 minutes or so ago, wasn't he, from the Mitch Rose booking. So whether it's just a recurrence of that, but he certainly caught the back of his leg, didn't he, Sam Osborne there, as he was in possession of the ball, almost venturing into the position he curled Knott's second goal in from 25 yards out, middle of goal. But it is Sam Osborne, the young man, with his first goal tonight. He's going to be withdrawn for Sean Shields. He's receiving a fantastic round of applause because could it be, with 77 minutes on the clock, it's his goal that has given Knott's the breathing space and may ultimately prove decisive.
Yeah, trots off, gives the Knott's fans on the far side a round of applause, and they return it with gusto. And on the near touchline this moment, he gets a big arm around his shoulder and pat on the back, and a big smile from his manager Neil Ardley, likewise from Neil Cox, as he now takes his place on the dugout. A first senior goal for young Sam Osborne. That was a long time ago, Sal. Remember yours?
I do, vaguely. Yeah, it was in black and white. But it's a fantastic moment for the young lad. You know, as you say, a lot of people have been saying, why doesn't he get more of a start? Well, tonight, what a fantastic night for him. He'll remember that for the rest of his career. Hope it goes on to be a long and successful one, and hopefully in a Knott shirt as well, because you want to see young lads come through the system, of course you do. But I think you saw, didn't you, what happens when you're a young lad, you score a goal, you get a little bit excited, the adrenaline gets you carried away, and I think it's a good decision from Neil Ardley, perhaps just to take him off. You've done your bit, son, well done. Come and sit down over here, let the rest of the lads go, and hopefully, you know, finish the night's work off, and then we can all enjoy it afterwards. Shields, with plenty of energy, is ratting around and trying to get in front of a few white shirts. Man with the best hair in the place, reminds me of Johnny Bravo. Well, Murtagh's just stepped past him with absolute ease, and he's given it to Namin Goya on the edge of the penalty area, but he's back there again with Shields, and he clears it away before David Stevens chests the ball down with his ample bosom, and now finds Fifield on the left-hand side. We are approaching the edgy 80s, 80 minutes ready to tick over here at Meadow Park. The ball on the far side with Thomas, first time cross into the penalty area and into the arms of the goalkeeper, Sloper. Yeah, since that first 5 to 10 minutes, we've not really seen too much threat, have we, from Sorba Thomas? You know, he sort of floated, looked like he could cause some damage, but so far his final ball's been lacking, and he's just not been able to make anything happen. And that's credit to Notts. You've got to give them the back four credit. They've marshalled been well, allied with Regan Booty and Mitch Rose, who do the bulk of the sitting in midfield. You know, so far they've kept what looked a lively Boreham Wood attack or forward line largely at arm's length. 80 minutes on the clock now, as Wootton wins a header, flicks it on down the left channel. Mingoya clears it away. Booty chests it down and can't keep it in. That'll be a Boreham Wood throw. Pierce Bird warms up away to our left-hand side, so does Christian Dennis. I think that might be Declan Dunn down there as well. Cuts a lonely figure at the moment, does young Sam Osborne, only 20 years old. As Wootton is putting some pressure on this near touchline. Calls optimistically for the throw-in. Came off of him last. Murtagh seems to be absolutely fine, by the way, despite the fact that not 2, 3, 4 minutes ago he was writhing around in pain. Bakayoko heads the ball high in the air. It hits the top of the stand and lands in front of us. Champion will take the throw. 81 gone. 2-0 to Notts. Murtagh on the ball. Back to Champion, with Wootton continuing to put good amounts of pressure on him. The ball skips off of this very wet surface. Now, they plenty of rain down here earlier on. It cleared up for a time about an hour or so before kick-off. Had some nice sunny weather, but
It's picked up again with a little bit of gusto, and the wind's picked up a touch as well this evening. Starting to feel a touch chilly. As Notts are looking to get their 4th win of the season. They got their 4th defeat of the season, to go along with 5 draws on Saturday down at Bromley. And yeah, looking for a 4th victory, and as it stands, in position to get exactly that. Long ball away from the goalkeeper on the edge of his penalty area for Boreham Wood, and headed out by Zamana Bakayoko for a throw. Reminder, we're back with the Terrace on Friday evening on BBC Radio Nottingham. That's 6 till 7, and then from 7 o'clock it's match night, Stoke against Nottingham Forest on all frequencies for you. And then on Saturday it'll be match day live from Meadow Lane, Notts against Fylde, 1:30 in the afternoon, that one with you for. And then Mansfield against Plymouth. There'll be updates on that. No game for the Stags this evening. It's with Wootton down the left-hand side. Some good play from Mitchell Rose. He's going to get away, is Wootton. Cuts towards the edge of the penalty area, squares it, looks for Rose, who does shoot, and drew a save sharply down to the right-hand side of the goalkeeper, who managed to keep hold of it, and he needed to because Wes Thomas was lurking. Yeah, really good play from Notts. Started off in their own half by Mitch Rose in a tight situation, working the ball. Good little Cruyff turn to buy himself some space, and he started it off into Wootton. And they made ground down the left-hand side. Eventually, Mitch Rose had continued his run. And a firm shot all along the deck. Was well held by David Gregory because he's under pressure. Wes Thomas looking for any spillage. Greasy surface here this evening as well now, as we've already alluded to. It's with Mingoya for Boreham Wood on the right-hand side. Goes back to Champion. Champion infield to the skipper, Ricketts, now to Fifield. Wes Thomas continues to work as he pushes him back up towards the halfway line. It's with Thomas and Fifield once more, edging towards goal. Back to Thomas on the left-hand side. He weaves this way and that, tries to get to the byline, goes down in the area, and the referee's pointed to the penalty spot. Tough to see in the gloom on the far side who was the guilty party back there, who's given away that penalty for the Magpies. Mitch Rose was over there. Could you make out the other one?
I'm not sure if it was Cannell Rawlinson or who it was, but like I say, the floodlights don't seem to light up too far down there. It's a little bit of a soft one from here, but we are a long way away. We're quite low down. It's a few protests from the Notts players. I don't think they're happy. I think it was Richard Brindley who might be the guilty party on this occasion. It's a little soft, I think. It did look soft. Looked like to be an occasion where the Boreham Wood player pushed it as far as he could push it and was going down a dark alley and thought, right, well, I'll go down and see what I get. Well, he's got a penalty, and it's going to be Tyrone Marsh who will take the kick. He's scored 4 in his last 6 games. We've got 85 minutes on the clock, and this would certainly make things interesting. With his right foot, he sticks it straight down the middle of the goal and into the back of the net. And now Sam Slocum's tried to retrieve the ball and almost kicked out in a fashion and caught the Boreham Wood man. And now the referee has got a decision to make. What's he going to do here? Slocum now got to check on the man on the ground. It's a yellow card for Sam Slocum. I had sudden flashbacks of Ross Fitzsimons against Crawley for a second. The manager, Luke Garrard, is asking for more of a severe punishment to be levied against the goalkeeper, but a yellow card it will be. We've got 5 minutes remaining. Notts won't keep hold of a clean sheet. Let's see if they can keep hold of all 3 points. It's 2-1. A comprehensive penalty, wasn't it? Tyrone Marsh holding his nerve, going straight down the middle, just waiting for Slocum to move, dives out of the way, and it hits the back of the net. But I mean, going back to the penalty decision, you say it's a long way from us here, but call me a cynic, but it smacks of one of them when you're 2-0 down at home, a decision that you maybe get. You know, maybe if you're the away team, it's not one you get, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We are a long way away. It's 2-1. There's just been a change, the third and final one of the evening from Boreham Wood, and Adam McDonnell has come on, and Mark Ricketts, the captain, has come off. We'll be going for a hell for leather now, you would imagine. And there's the man who went down a moment ago and won the penalty here in the booze. Sorba Thomas, he's got away from 2 Notts players, tries to slip it down the left channel, but the Magpies win it back. And it's now with Regan Booty, who plays a hopeful ball down the right touchline. And nowhere near any man in a green shirt. It's going to be an edgy and nervy finish to this game here now at Boreham Wood.
Notts last season made a habit of taking a lead and not being able to hang on to it and either drawing or losing games, and they did that in the early stages of this season as well. In fact, at one point it was 4 of the first 6 or 7 games that they'd taken the lead and not managed to maintain it. Well, they have a 2-goal cushion. It's now down to 1 thanks to that penalty from Tyrone Marsh, who gets his 6th goal of the season and a 5th in his last 7 games.
Yeah, got to be brave, Notts. Now they've been managing the game largely comfortably before that, and then something out of nothing all of a sudden puts a different perspective on the game, gives Boreham Wood a little bit of belief that they can maybe get something out of this game that you would say over the 90 minutes is they've barely deserved. But you know, that's how football goes.
Bakayoko putting Marsh under pressure, and that'll go out for a throw-in on this near side. 3 minutes remain. Marsh, the man on the ball once more, number 11 on his back, steers the play back inside towards McDonald, who has the 8 on his back and is the latest substitute off of the bench for the home side. He's Irish and used to be at Ipswich as a youngster. Ball into the penalty area from Boreham Wood, straight into the gloves of the man in pink once more.
Yeah, Sam Slocum gratefully grabs the ball in his midriff and goes down to the ground, and he'll take all the time he possibly can over this and just allow Notts to regroup, get out, clear their defensive lines before he launches it as far as he can into the night sky.
Wootton controls the ball in his chest and almost into the path of Wes Thomas, and there's a massive tackle from David Stevens, who is going to get a yellow card. He's got the ball. It's a thundering tackle. It was sent Thomas high in the air, who's flipped around and hit the turf. You would have absolutely nothing wrong with that, but in this day and age, it's a yellow.
It is interesting. I'm not going to be, I've double standard. He won the ball. It was a full-blooded tackle. Both players running running into each other head on. And it was just Stevens as the centre half. The big lad's gone through everything, won the ball. Wes Thomas has sort of, unfortunately, come off the worst of it. I think he's all right. He's going to be okay. But the referee does give a free kick to Notts because he was probably out of control, David Stevens, and Notts have got a free kick, what, 24, 25 yards out, virtually centre of goal. Yeah,
just to the left of centre, suit right footer perfectly. Mitch Rose stands there and offers that. Regan Booty offering the left foot. So just moments after Notts' 2-goal lead was cut to 1, the Magpies have certainly a decent opportunity to test the goalkeeper here, and we look to restore that 2-goal cushion with 89 minutes on the clock. Thomas is okay, he's back to his feet. And Booty and Rose continue to stand over the ball as the referee is checking on the wall. There might be a Notts player hidden in behind there, trying to have a look. Yes, there is. Just in behind the wall of white shirts. Mitch Rose has his hands on his hips and is surveying his options. He's going to go for goal, that's for sure. And he strides forward with his right foot. It hits the wall and deflects behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, well, just looking to bend it, wasn't he, with his right foot. Mitch Rose just clipped off the outside of the wall and takes it 2 or 3 yards wide of David Gregory's left-hand post. Put out for a corner to Notts on their attacking right, which I don't think they've been too much hurry to go over and take. 89 minutes on the clock.
It will be Regan Booty who'll go over there and take it. Well, let's find out how long it's going to be added on. 5 minutes I've just seen flash up on the board, and he's about to show that to everybody else as well. Notts are going to go for the short corner, which they've now taken, down by the byline on the far side.
5 minutes, limit time, 5 minutes.
5 minutes is greeted with a big cheer from the home supporters away to our right-hand side, but meanwhile Regan Booty has gone for goal, and he's not far wide with it as he looked to restore that 2-goal cushion.
Yeah, they worked the corner short, didn't they? Eventually it broke to Booty on the edge of the box, coming in from that right-hand side, and looked to shape it with his inside of his left foot and bend it and find that far post. Just set it off too far wide and just going wide for a goal kick for Boreham Wood, which David Gregory's taken and put straight out of play for a throw-in.
Just hearing now that Arsenal have doubled their lead. Rob Holding has got it for the Gunners at the Emirates Stadium, not far away from here, where Forest are in action this evening. That game available for you on FM. They're about 15-20 minutes behind us here at Boreham Wood because of traffic on the M1 earlier on meant that the kickoff had to be delayed. Long ball over the top from Boreham Wood. It's a foot race towards the edge of the penalty area. That the ball wins in the end, and Sam Slocum gratefully grasps it. Pierce Bird's about to come on for Notts. Boreham Wood have already used up all 3 of their substitutes. and Bird will come on and add a bit more size and height and maybe some energy at the back, and also, rather crucially at this time, waste some time. Minute and a half of the 5 added on has been played. Free kick to Boreham Wood inside their own half.
Yeah, we will have this substitution, and Bird will be on for that, and for should not concede any set pieces, free kicks or anything, as they have done here. There's a free kick inside Boreham Wood's half, but you know it's only going to go one way. And it's Enzio slowly making his way over to the sideline to allow Pierce Bird on for what we've got about, 3 minutes remaining of the 5 added on.
The 2 goal scorers then have taken about 756 here this evening, with 289 from Notts in attendance. Ball's coming our way, but I think it's going to hit the roof. See? And we've got 3 minutes of additional time remaining, so 756 here this evening, just shy of 300 have come from Nottingham. Ilasami knocks it long, up towards the Notts penalty area, but that is going to run all the way through to the goalkeeper, who's controlled it and just waits for a white shirt to close him down, really. Meanwhile, the Boreham Wood manager, Luke Garrard, is getting increasingly irate on the near touchline as he sees this one potentially slipping away.
Yeah, I think he's just getting irate with the straight balls. They're just not 2 long straight balls. Like you say, with this zippy surface, with the rain that we've got, the wet surface, all of them are going to just run straight through to Sam Slocum. So he's wanting his players just to hit the diagonals to give themselves a chance, and not trying to keep as high a line as they possibly can. For anything over the top, Sam Slocum can sweep it.
Goal kick for Notts, throw-in for Notts, after the goalkeeper has, the second time in a row, booted the ball out for a Notts throw, and Neil Ardley will say thank you very much. Meanwhile, the Boreham Wood manager is getting even more angry, and a lot of that being aimed at his 24-year-old goalkeeper David Gregory, who coming off the back of back-to-back clean sheets. Obviously not today though. Notts have it with Rose, edge of his own penalty area, clears it, and anywhere will do. That was certainly the approach with that one. With Fifield, knocks it back in the opposite direction once more, looking for David Stevens, who's going for a ride on the back of Pierce Bird. It's gone out for a Boreham Wood throw on the right-hand side. It'll be taken by Piero Mingoya, which I'm not sure was the initial intention, because I think they were looking for a long one, but in the end they go short. And they go short to Murta, who gets the ball back after playing a 1-2, nearly trips over it, nearly falls over, but he does have it. His attempted cross is blocked by Bakayoko. It now breaks to Mingoya, who crosses the ball into the penalty area. It's headed away by McCrory. Back out towards Murta, knocks it back in once more, and there's a shot from the near post from Marsh, which is deflected behind from point-blank range. Again, McCrory the man there, corner kick.
Damien McCrory getting hand slaps from the Notts players. That was almost as good as a goal from 4 or 5 yards out. He threw himself and blocked the shot from Marsh and deflected it behind for this corner. Danger still not over.
30 seconds of the 5 additional minutes remain. Corner kick to Boreham Wood. It'll be taken by Thomas, an outswinger to the back post. Man goes down, danger's not cleared, pinballs around in there, overhead kick attempted from the edge of the area as well. Goal kick. That might be the moment. That might be the moment that Boreham Wood's chance departs and Notts get the best opportunity to capture all 3 points.
Yeah, it was, and Tyrone Marsh's was the half opening, wasn't it? That he had, just couldn't quite pull the trigger quick enough, got his shot away. Credit to Damien McCrory for that block. Say, players slapping him, coming across, slapping hands, like he's just, well, helped them win the game, because you imagine this is probably going to be the last action as Sam Slocum takes this goal kick for Notts.
We've played the 5 minutes. The referee puts his whistle to his lips and blows for full time, and Notts County bounce back after the disappointment of Saturday with 3 points on the road this evening here at Boreham Wood. They win by 2 goals to 1.